This is the headline feature of the Jimny, the Suzuki All Grip Pro 4x4 system that enhances the off-road capability of this Suzuki. But how does it work? That's what we're going to talk about in this, the first in our 8-part series, ABC of off-roading with the Suzuki Jimny. We're going to start with the basics, the hardware, do's and don'ts, safety, recovery techniques. Then we're going to go to level 1, level 2, level 3 off-road trails. And after that, we're going to explore different parts of the country in different seasons. The monsoons, we're going to go to the Thar Desert and do dune bashing. In the winters, we're going to take this to the snows and show you how you can drive in that kind of terrain. All that and more coming up in this, the 8-part series. So stay tuned to the channel, smash that bell icon to stay notified for all the video drops. And of course, if you have any questions on off-roading, drop it in the comments and we will take it up in our coming episodes. We have the S-Cross with front-wheel drive, the Grand Vitara with all-wheel drive, and the Jimny obviously with 4x4 and 4low. We're going to drive around, find a steep slope and put all three through it and show you the benefits of having 4x4. And we're going to start with Atish in the S-Cross. 4x4s have the added advantage of better ground clearance, but that's not what we are about to demonstrate. We want to show you the differences in traction between front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive and 4x4, and that's why on this gradient we've got that poke there, and that is flattening out the mound in the middle so that the underbody of the S-Cross does not scrape. Okay, so we're going to get Atish to come up in the S-Cross and see how far up this gravel slope he can make it. Atish, let's go!
Okay, so hill climb with the S-Cross, front wheel drive car, let's see how it does. I'm going to put it in, get the handbrake up because I'm on the slope. And we're off, we're climbing. It's
full power drive. So as you can see, the front wheels are running out of traction and that's the limit that the S-Cross can do. You can see that the front wheels are losing traction, they're spinning up, they're kicking out a lot of gravel, and after a year it's just uselessly spinning and not going anywhere. So this is the limit of the S-Cross's traction. So this is where the S-Cross went till. There's a nice big hole over there. Now the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive is coming up, so I'll just take a couple of paces up. Obviously the all-wheel drive will help it get more traction. But let's see how much further up this rutted hill the Grand Vitara can come. So it's got momentum. Okay, that's it. So we are 1.5, maybe 2 car lengths ahead of the S-Cross. And that's the benefit of all-wheel drive. It's less stressful for the car. There's not too much of front tire spinning. It's less stressful on the clutch, on the tires as well. And you obviously get more traction. The Jimny is in rear wheel drive for the first run. This is where the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive made it up till. Let's see what the Jimny can do with rear-wheel drive. Now you got to remember the construction is completely different. The Grand Vitara is all-wheel drive. This is proper rear-wheel drive. Let's see how it does. Let's go. All right, doesn't look like it's struggling. Okay, driver problem. So the traction control was on and that didn't let the wheels spin up and give him a little bit more traction. So now rear-wheel drive, ESP switched off. Let's see how far it makes it up. So that's how far the Jimny made it up with rear-wheel drive. So now Atish is going to go back down, switch it into 4 high, and then show you the benefits, the differences that 4-wheel drive actually delivers. Let's go, Atish. And this is the difference that 4x4 makes. As you can see, the Jimny is faster, there is less wheel spin, it's not throwing up any stones. And in one smooth motion, the Jimny comes up. The Jimny in rear wheel drive, it stopped 2-3 car lengths below me. But with 4x4, you don't even have to struggle, you don't have to slip the clutch, the wheels are not spinning, you're not digging into the tires. So everything is easier and it's far simpler dealing with terrain such as this. Nothing like visual representation to show you the differences between front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive and 4x4. So this is where the S-Cross came up until, with a lot of wheel spin, lot of drama. Now with all-wheel drive, the Grand Vitara is what? 2.5 car lengths ahead. It came up easily, not struggling at all. And then the Jimny. It came up here without struggling, without any effort, and that just shows the differences in traction that four-wheel drive actually delivers. It makes off-roading not only easy, but a whole load more fun. And something like this shows capability of the road.
Let's take a quick break to talk about how all-wheel drive differs technically to four-wheel drive. Part-time all-wheel drive systems like the All Grip Select on the Grand Vitara automatically decides when to drive all four wheels. Sensors monitor whether the front wheels are slipping and engages all-wheel drive to compensate without needing any driver intervention. This makes life easy for the driver, and it also lets the vehicle drive more efficiently, balancing fuel economy and traction needs. Part-time four-wheel drive systems like the All Grip Pro on the Jimny link the front and rear wheels together using a transfer case. On tarmac, they run rear-wheel drive, and then you manually engage a lever to activate 4x4, which splits power evenly between the front and rear axles and makes them turn at the same speed. The advantage is they can power through off-road situations even if multiple wheels lose traction. These systems are also tough and are built to handle extreme conditions.
Before we wrap up this episode and jump into the next episodes with more serious off-roading, let me give you a few tips and tricks, especially how to be safe when you're driving off-road. Now, first things first, always your thumbs outside the steering wheel. So never your thumbs locked inside the steering wheel rim, always outside. And the reason for that is when you're off-roading, suppose your wheels hit a boulder or an obstacle, your steering, it might kick back quite violently and aggressively. You might even snap your thumbs. But that said, the Jimny, it has a steering damper, so you don't get those violent kickbacks. But still, better to be safe, better to drive properly when you're off the road. The second is seating position. When you're driving off-road, you need more leverage in your arms, and that's why it makes sense to bring the seat 1 or maybe 2 clicks forward so you get good leverage in your arms and you can deal with obstacles. In terms of visibility, you have this sort of indentation in the door line, and that helps you see better out there. That improves your visibility, your line of sight. Obviously, seat belts at all times. Some people say that it is better not to be belted out, so if you get into an incident, you can jump out of the vehicle, but that is absolutely idiotic. Now, if you get stuck and you are alone, getting yourself out is going to be a problem. So always have a buddy along with their 4x4 to help you when you do get stuck. Also, it's a good idea to have basic recovery equipment with you at all times. So that means a tow rope, tow shackles. You should know where your towing eye is, your tow hook on your 4x4, and also carry along an air compressor. Now, when you're in these rough conditions where there are a lot of boulders, I suggest that you leave the tire pressures at the recommended, because when you lower it, then there are greater chances of your tires getting cut and damaged. So leave the tire pressures at the recommended. And then speed. Now remember, off-roading is not rallying. In rallying, we drive as fast as possible over these kind of tracks. Off-roading is not about speed. It is about skill, it is about precision, it's about not damaging your 4x4, not damaging or hurting yourself and your passengers and buddies. I must also point out, once you hit the tarmac, never leave it in 4x4. That puts a lot of strain on your differential and the tires. The Jimny, it has shift on the fly, 4-wheel drive. So as soon as you hit tarmac, rear wheel drive, and that's much better. And when you hit off-road patches, again, shift on the fly. So you can shift it to 4x4, and now you have 4x4. You have this icon on the dashboard, and you're good to go. That's it for part 1 in our ABC of Off-Roading series with the Jimny. Now remember, this is an 8-part series. So don't forget to smash that bell icon and stay notified for all the next drops. In the next video, we're going to be taking on the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive and hitting the trails that you've seen in this episode. But we're going to show you how by driving a little bit better, raising your driving standards and also harnessing all the tech that the all-wheel drive Grand Vitara has, you can overcome some of the obstacles a little bit easier than what you probably saw in this episode. So stay tuned for that video.